Surprise. Spot week for our hero, Mom said. I left. They moved fast. By day 3 my apartment was listed. My furniture gone. Even my dog's bed was missing. They sold everything to help jumpstart my brother's new home. When I called, Mom said, we thought you'd want him to have a future. I just replied, so will I. Froze $11,600 in transfers, reclaimed the deed, and sent one folder titled Final Receipt to their lawyer. Why are you always so dramatic? Mom rolled her eyes as she handed me a lavender-colored envelope with a gold sticker that read Breathe Heal Glow. I blinked. What is this? A spa week. She chirped. Surprise. You've been so tense lately, and well, you could really use it. Our hero needs to rest. Dad chuckled behind her, not even looking up from his phone. Yeah. Go get your chakras rotated or whatever. I stared at them, unsure whether to laugh or run. Something was off. I had just come over to bring groceries. They texted the night before. No food in the fridge, sweetheart. Like I hadn't already covered their utilities this month. Again, wait. So you're sending me away? I asked, slowly glancing at my sister Ava, who sat grinning at her phone, thumbs moving too fast for the conversation happening in the room. Mom waved her hand. Don't be silly. It's just 1 week. You'll love it. Massages. No screens. Digital detox. I should have known. The place was nice. I won't lie. Mountainside. Minimalist. Full of silent yoga teachers who smelled like rosemary and judgment. But something in me couldn't relax. The silence made my thoughts louder. By the 3rd day I caved and paid the front desk $20 to use their landline. No one answered at home. Not my mom, not Dad, not Ava. Weird. I left a voicemail, tried again in an hour. Still nothing. Something was wrong. When I got back to the city a day early, anxiety crawling under my skin, I pulled into the driveway of my apartment and knew. My name was no longer on the door. The locks had been changed. The landlord's notice was taped to the door. Her request: lease termination effective immediately. Thank you for the cooperation, Miss Ava Langston. I thought maybe it was a mistake, a scam. I ran around the back, climbed the fire escape like some desperate sitcom character. I peered through the window, empty. The couch was gone. The bookshelves. The antique floor lamp I saved 3 months for. Even my dog's bed. Everything gone. Just the echo of my life erased in 72 hours. My phone finally buzzed. Mom. She sounded cheerful. Too cheerful. We thought you'd want him to have a future. I froze. What? For your brother. She said, as if I just missed a punchline. You always said you wanted to help. And his new place is just perfect now. Really feels like a home. I stared at the concrete steps under my feet, the voice in my ear sounding like it came from another world. I see, I said slowly. You thought I'd want him to have a future. There was silence on the line. Then I hung up. And that night I froze $11,600 in pending transfers, reclaimed the deed to the apartment I'd signed over in good faith 2 years ago, and sent one email to their lawyer. The subject line said Final Receipt, and inside was a single PDF file. We thought you'd want him to have a future. That line didn't leave my head for days, not even in sleep, because the truth was I already gave him one and they took mine to do it. Let's rewind. For the last 5 years I paid the rent on that apartment. Every bill, every repair. It wasn't much, 1-bedroom, old wiring, heat that coughed in the winter, but it was mine. Or at least I thought it was. Then 2 years ago my mom came crying on the phone. Said they were drowning in debt. Said Dad's heart medication had wiped out their savings. She needed help. Just a small loan. Just until things stabilized. I didn't even think. I sent them $4,000 that night. It didn't stop there. Groceries just for a week. Utilities until Dad's VA pension clears. My sister's tuition bill, the one she swore her scholarship would cover. My brother's moving expenses when he dropped out of college to find himself. Month after month I wired money. Not because I'm a saint. Because they made it sound like I was the only reason they were still breathing. I never asked for thanks. But somewhere in me I thought they knew. That they understood. But when I came back and saw my dog's food bowl thrown upside down in the trash, I got it. Really got it. They didn't forget. They never cared. First I checked my bank out. There it was, a $6,500 withdrawal labeled furniture delivery. Jordan is my younger brother. And suddenly my living room set had a new owner. Then I checked Venmo. $1,300 transfer to Ava moving support. And the worst part? My emergency savings account. Gone. Cleaned out. A $2,800 transfer to my mother's PayPal for home repairs. I called her. She actually answered. "Oh honey," she said with that fake softness. We needed to act fast. Jordan got the lease approval and we had to furnish it before he moved in. You'd understand if you saw it. It's beautiful. Real grown-up. "You stole from me," I said. She sighed. "Don't be dramatic. You always say you don't need much. You live so simply. It's for your brother." I almost laughed. "You kicked me out of my own home. Where am I supposed to go?" She didn't answer. Just whispered, "You'll figure it out. You always do." The group chat incident. I didn't think they could go lower. But then my cousin sent me a screenshot. My family group chat. The one I'd been silently removed from. The caption under the photo. Jordan's new place. Finally out of the nest. Thanks to everyone who believed in him. There was my old couch, my coffee table, the rug I bought in Portland. And the worst part, the comments. "Uncle Dennis looks better than it ever did in her cave. Aunt Trish, he deserves it. She just hoarded everything. Ava, karma always balances." No one knew I could still see it. No one knew I still had access through the linked Google account my dumb self had once set up for Mom. I sat there shaking. Not crying, just cold. Because this wasn't a mistake. It was a decision. I broke into my own email. I had once used it to store scans of receipts and contracts. I found the rental lease. My name was the only one listed, but now Jordan had changed the locks. I texted him. "Me, you moved into my apartment." "Jordan, not your apartment anymore. It's in Mom's name now. She transferred the lease." "Chill." "Me, you threw away my dog's bed." "Jordan, it smelled awful." No apology. Just that. The lies get louder. 2 days later I saw a post on Facebook from Ava. A picture of her, Jordan, and my mom standing in front of a sold sign. Caption: "New beginnings. When one door closes, another opens. Hashtag family first. Hashtag fresh start." Except I knew that door. That was my condo application. The same one I'd been secretly planning to move into next year. The same building. Same unit. I had toured it. I had taken pictures. I had sent it to Ava months ago thinking she'd be proud. She'd given the info to Mom. They beat me to it. Used my savings. Took what I was building and gave it to Jordan because he deserved a future. The breaking point. An old USB drive I'd left in a drawer. I didn't even know it was missing until I found the envelope. It was postmarked from a friend. No return address. Inside was a printout of a chat between Jordan and Ava. Ava. She won't fight. She never does. Jordan, she's too soft. She'll cry for a day then disappear. Ava, perfect. Then I get the couch. You get the dog crate and we both get peace. There was more. References to emails they forged. Insurance policies they tried to cancel under my name. They wanted to erase me but keep my money. Then came the article. Jordan's girlfriend wrote a gushy blog post. How we build our first home with family support. She listed out the furniture they bought together. She posted a photo of my graduation frame on his new wall. And in the comments Ava replied, "We're so proud. Took a village." That village was me. End of pretending. I didn't scream. I didn't post. I filed 3 reports. Fraudulent lease transfer under review. Theft of property over $5,000 under investigation. Bank dispute for the $11,600 in total unauthorized transfers. And then I sent one final email to the family lawyer with documents, screenshots, bank statements, and the original lease. Subject line: legal ownership and account forfeiture. Attachment: a 27-page PDF. I also called the landlord, told her the full story, and that if she didn't start cooperating, I'd be sharing this saga with names online. She folded. As of now, the apartment is no longer under Jordan's name. A 30-day eviction notice is on its way, and I'm staying in a hotel waiting for the right moment to close the final chapter because I'm not done. They tried to erase me. I chose to rebuild quietly for myself. I waited until his housewarming party not to crash it to end it. They called it Jordan's Fresh Start. My parents helped organize it. Ava was handling decor and social as if this wasn't my stolen apartment dressed up in fairy lights and fake smiles. The invitation, yes, they had the gall to email it to me, said just family and close friends. Come celebrate what happens when we lift each other up. That line hit harder than I expected. So I made a choice. Not a text. Not a post. Not a lawyer. I showed up dressed plainly. Calm. No backup. No rage. Just me and a small white envelope in my coat pocket. Jordan opened the door. His smirk cracked a little when he saw me. Hey. You weren't on the guest list. I looked past him. There they were, Mom arranging snacks, Dad sipping from one of my stolen mugs, Ava laughing too loudly like nothing was wrong. I didn't wait for permission. I stepped inside. Silence hit like a wave. The kind that doesn't settle. What are you doing here? Ava's smile was gone. This isn't about you. I turned slowly to face her. You're right. This is about all of you. Jordan moved to block me. You need to leave now. I will, I said. After I say this once clearly, Mom tried to cut in, sweetheart, this isn't the time. Stop, I said. You've had your time. You've had years. They stared. Let me make something simple for all of you, I continued. Every plate in this house. I bought it. That rug. Mine. The bills paid last month. My bank account. Even the deposit for this lease forged using my information without my consent. That's not true, Jordan said. It's not like that, I raised a hand. Don't lie now. You've done enough of that. Ava crossed her arms. So what? You're gonna cry and take your couch back? I looked her in the eye. No. I came to give something, not take it. From my coat I pulled the white envelope and handed it to Jordan. Inside was a copy of the voided lease with a note attached from the property manager. Effective end of tenancy 30 days. Reassignment pending. His face drained of color. You're bluffing. I pulled out the second slip of paper. A notice of financial liability for the stolen furniture, $4,700 worth. I had the receipts. Signed. Traced. Your move-in was illegal. The locks were changed during a fraudulent transfer. The owner has agreed to reverse the file. You're squatting, Jordan. Classy. You never even used this place right, he shouted. You barely had guests. You didn't make it a home. Because it was mine, I said flatly. Mine to use or not. You don't get to judge how I survive. Dad stood up finally. This is madness. You're trying to destroy your brother. Is that what this is? Revenge. No, I said. This is protection. From what? He barked. From you, I said softly. All of you. Mom sat down slowly. She looked older but not sorry. Just exhausted by the consequences. You think this makes you better than us? Ava spat. No, I said. But it finally makes me free from you. Jordan tore the papers in half. You can't do this. I'm already here. We've already moved in. You'll move out, I said, or the sheriff will help. Dad tried to laugh, one of those tired, toxic chuckles. You really want to make this legal? Drag this into court. It'll embarrass everyone. I'm not afraid of embarrassment, I said. You should be. And then I walked toward the door. But just before I stepped out, I turned one last time. You cut me out and thought I wouldn't notice, but I did. I let the silence thicken. No more. No more wiring money. No more emergencies. No more sister who needs rent. No more second chances. From this point forward, I am not your emergency plan. And then I said it. I'll see you in 30 days or not. Either way you're leaving. I walked out to the sound of no one following me. Not even Mom. They thought it ended when I walked out. It hadn't even begun. The night after the confrontation I slept for 10 hours straight. The kind of sleep you don't have in survival mode. The kind of sleep you earn. When I woke, the first thing I did was change my phone number. The second I went to the bank. That $11,600 in frozen transfers. I moved it into a new account, one they didn't know about. I canceled every automatic payment, flagged every linked card. I even went back through my statements and printed the last 2 years line by line just to see the trail of how I'd been bled dry. Rent, utilities, furniture, emergency flights, Ava's therapy bills, which I later found out she never attended. Jordan's job relocation, he never worked a day at that office. Groceries I never ate. Gifts I never received. Over $38,000, I didn't just cut them off. I shut the entire pipeline. Then came the condo. 2 days later I showed up. Not at my old apartment but at the condo Ava had hijacked the application for. The one I had been planning for myself months in the making. I walked in with a briefcase and a title transfer form. The leasing agent Sarah looked up and said, "Oh, Miss Langston. You're back." I smiled. "No. I'm not. I'm her older sister. I was the original applicant. I'm here to correct something." She blinked. "Wait. You're the one who..." I handed her the folder. Every payment I'd made to reserve that unit, every conversation I documented, every forged change Ava submitted, all traced back to her email, her digital signature, her fake verification call from a burner number. Sarah's face changed. "This is serious." I nodded. "Good. Because I'm done asking nicely." She excused herself. Came back with her manager. We spoke for 40 minutes. By the end of the meeting, the application was reversed. The unit was once again mine. "I'll need a few days before I move in," I said calmly. "Just enough time to change the locks." Next came the deed. Years ago I'd helped my parents keep their house during a property tax emergency. I wired $9,000 to cover it, and in return they'd made me a co-owner just until things settled down, they said. They forgot. I didn't. I pulled the original notarized deed from my safe deposit box and walked into a lawyer's office. "I want a trigger partition," I told him. "Force of sale." He raised an eyebrow. "Family home." "Not anymore," I said. "I want my half in cash and I want the title cleared." A letter went out 3 days later. Certified. Legally binding. They would have to buy me out or sell the house. But the final blow wasn't legal. It was personal. Jordan texted me the day the 30-day notice arrived not to apologize. "Jordan, you're ruining everything. Jordan, we're your family. Why are you doing this? Jordan, you could have just let it go," I replied once. Me, I did let it go for 10 years. He tried calling. I let it ring. Mom left me a voicemail crying, saying she couldn't sleep, that this was destroying her. She didn't ask for forgiveness, just begged for delay. "We just need time. We're trying to figure things out. Don't take the house. Not yet. Please. You know how much it means to us." No mention of what they took from me. No recognition. No regret. Just desperation. So I responded, "Me. You said Jordan deserved a future. So do I. You stole mine. Now I'm taking it back." 3 days later, an offer. I got a call from a real estate firm in town. A friend of mine had passed my number along. "We heard you were listed on a property that might be coming up for sale," the woman said. "We have a client cash buyer interested in fast closings." I gave her the address. She gave me a number. It was higher than I expected. I signed the intent to sell that afternoon. That night my dad showed up at my work. Not to apologize. Not even to fight. He sat in the lobby, red-faced, hands trembling, holding the envelope from the lawyer's office. "You're bluffing," he said. "You'd never sell the house. That's your childhood home." I looked him dead in the eye. "You kicked me out of it. Remember?" He went quiet. "I'll make you a deal," he said. I shook my head. "No more deals. We can figure something out." Ava's talking to a friend at the bank. Maybe we can take a second mortgage. She can't, I interrupted. She defaulted on her car loan last month. I co-signed that one too, remember? It's gone now. Repossessed. He blinked. What? I canceled the payment. The car was in my name. I claimed it. The finance company auctioned it yesterday. He looked like I'd punched him. You're serious, he whispered. Completely serious, I said. Then what do you want? He asked. I stood up to never see this face again. Final week. The eviction clock ticked. Jordan sent me a message begging for an extension. He got a 3-word reply. Speak to landlord. Ava sent me a list of things she said I didn't need back, offering to keep them if it made things easier. I replied, every item will be inventoried. If it's missing, you pay. If it's damaged, you pay. On the 27th day, movers arrived. Not for me. For them, boxes were dumped on the sidewalk by 8 a.m. By noon, the locks were changed. I picked up the keys from the property manager at 2 p.m. The old doormat was still there. It said, home is where the heart is. I stepped on it without blinking, walked inside, sat down on my couch alone in peace. And for the first time in years, I didn't owe anyone anything. I thought it was over. Then I got a letter from the county. A lien filed by my father claiming ownership of my condo because he contributed furniture. His evidence. A scanned check from 1999 for a baby crib. My crib, the judge's handwritten note read. This is not just absurd. It is delusional. I printed that sentence, framed it, and hung it above my front door. Then came Ava. One voicemail. You need to check the garage. She was talking about the storage unit I once gave her access to. I found it trashed. My old tax files, USB drives, a laptop destroyed. On the wall, written in marker. Control this. They were scared. They thought I had more. They were right. But the twist came a week later. I got a call from a private investigator. You're not under investigation, he said. But your mother is. Turns out my mother and Ava had been using my name to funnel donations into a fake scholarship fund supposedly created in my honor. Tens of thousands had passed through it. I never saw a cent. They used me as a mascot. Years before I even had my own life. Now the fund was frozen. A subpoena was issued and both of them were facing fraud inquiries. The ending they never saw coming. I sold the condo not out of fear, out of clarity. I bought a small house, 3 rooms, no shared walls, black front door, no name on the mailbox. Above the fireplace I hung a plaque. I am not what they built. I am what I burned. Final gesture. A week later I got one more envelope. Inside a photo. Me and Ava, kids covered in sidewalk chalk. No words. Just the memory. I took it outside, dropped it into the grill, lit a match, watched it burn, and whispered, you can keep the memory. I'll keep the freedom.